What's up, guys? Doja TBD here with another video. Today we got the True Geordie Podcast, and they're going to be discussing that Tommy Fury accepted the Jake Paul fight. So let's see what's happening. Let's go.
Tommy's, have you heard about this this shit?
Tommy,
he's
what is it,
accepted
Tommy
the,
Tumbles?
he's,
Is it actually been accepted?
he's accepted the bet. Send the contract over.
Oh, so it's not been signed off yet, but he's sort of verbally accepted.
No, he's verbally accepted it. So
Send the contract so I can remove some of those clauses.
but for those who don't know, Jake Paul basically said if Tommy Fury beats him, he'll give him an extra 500 grand on top of his £1 million purse or whatever. But if Jake Paul wins, he has to change his name from Tommy Fury to Tommy Fumbles.
So legally change his name.
I feel like that's kind of weird that he's
And he's
accepting a
And in the
500k
post-fight press
increase.
conference, he would also have to be referred to by the journalists and anyone else.
Like it's not even that much more.
For a year, I think it was.
No, but I read the clause the way it's written, and it literally says it stipulates in the post-fight interview, in the post-fight press conference. So he's making sure there's like that humiliation the second that might happen.
And that's the thing, you've got to give credit to Jake because he really knows.
The fact
how
that he
to
thinks this
make
shit up
it
is a
really.
genius, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
With the tattoo.
no boxer's ever done this before, to my knowledge. Like, putting extra added jeopardy on, using his money. He's basically the chip leader at the poker table, just applying as much pressure to the other guy as possible and saying if they crack. I like
But you know what's weird about it is these guys all have a choice as to whether they fight him or not. Like,
but they don't, though. Because he is the lottery ticket. Yeah. So almost Tommy kind of has no choice because, like Jake rightly stipulated, your biggest payday so far was 200 grand off me, and now I'm going to give you $1 million. If you don't take this fight, you're in danger of never getting that kind of money.
Jake Paul needs the Fury name as well, like to fight a real boxer.
It helps him, yeah.
It really helps him as well. Because like at the moment, up until now, he hasn't been taken seriously as a boxer. Once he beats a boxer, he's taken even more seriously. But what I love about he's starting to make me like him, and I've never liked him, which is incredible. But what I love about him is he makes it so hard for these guys to say no, because he says something once, and it'd be easy to let that go there. But then he just keeps chipping away, and like you say, putting more chips on the table, more chips on the table, till they think, I've got to do this. Like, if I don't do it, what else can I do? Tyson Fury added the pressure to it, saying, if you don't beat him, I'll change his name for him. Like, the pressure's all on Tommy Fury.
Even Tyron Woodley, after the fight with Jake Paul, was like, I'm not getting that tattoo. Oh, I'll get it if you give me another fight. And I think he noticed that there was a stalemate between Tommy and Jake, and he was like, I've got an opportunity here. So he went and got the tattoo on his finger, just hoping that would drag Jake into a fight. Because when you think about pay-per-view, the amount of money that Tyron Woodley got just to turn up, and then you've got all the sponsorships, he probably made close to £3 million off that Jake Paul fight.
It was the biggest payday of his career.
By a mile.
Absolute mile.
For a lot of fighters, we were talking about on the last stream. Like, literally, that is big money for in boxing, unless you make it to world title. And not even when you make it to a world title fight. So it's not until you've normally become the champion you actually start to make money. So to turn down an opportunity like that, any boxer would be.
I guarantee you,
crazy.
I honestly think he took that fight because Tyson Fury just beat Deontay Wilder, right? So it makes sense that even though that is not him, it's his brother, so it's gonna in turn make the last name that he has right now, his stock, a little higher. It's weird, but I believe that was like a motivating factor that Tommy took the fight after his brother just beat Deontay. Just for example, we seen two guys earlier we watched on the DAZN event, Fowler and Smith. Pros, their combined purses would have come nowhere near a Jake Paul fight. Nowhere fucking near.
Nowhere near.
And that's one of the biggest nights.
And yeah, that's a big night in British boxing. So that just shows it's hard to turn down. But I do think there's something in this humiliation thing that he's going for, which is going to keep making people want to watch. He's adding to it.
The interesting thing is, though, don't you think that the Furies are kind of going along with it a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Because John Fury said of this, right? He said, Tyson said if Paul beats him, he's got to change his name, which he should do.
Yeah.
If he can't beat Jake Paul, I'd smash him to bits with a bamboo stick myself. Tyson said, we'll kick the shit out of you as well. No pressure.
Tyson literally said he might as well retire. He said he's got ambition to being a world champion. If he can't beat a fucking YouTuber, he's got no hope. And this is the thing, though, is I kind of like that they're backing Tommy. Obviously, you've got to back your bro, but at the same time, I'm like, have you guys watched him box? Because there's every chance he'll lose this fight. Like, obviously, it's a toss-up. It could go either way. I personally would pick Jake, but, but even when Tommy's talking about it, he's like, there's no game plan. I'm going to walk straight over there. I'm going to smash him to bits. And I'm like, mate, you remember that 5'5" wrestler that you couldn't do anything with in 4 rounds, and yet I mean, I'm not saying he might not win a decision or whatever, but like, you ain't annihilating Jake Paul when you couldn't even take that wrestler out.
Unless in the gym they're seeing something else, and maybe I think the pressure is getting him on the nights. Maybe he is better in the gym than what we've seen up to now, but based on what we've seen up to now, he's not shown anything far from.
I've watched him hit pads, and I thought you look good at hitting pads, but obviously
anybody can look good hitting pads.
Well, exactly, and pads don't hit back, and that's where he's getting clipped was when he's exchanging. He's obviously his defense isn't there, but
he'll never have a fight with more pressure on it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because
if pressure's a problem, bro.
Because there's no problem losing against another heavyweight boxer.
No. Yeah.
If you lose against Jake Paul, bro, it's over for you.
Yeah,
you can't. Right. There's no coming back.
He becomes the laughingstock of the Fury family, and also, like, as he's walking into that ring, all he's going to be thinking of is Tommy fumbles.
That's going to take him off the fight because he'd be worrying about that. So like, this is where Jake Paul's clever. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. He knows it's constant mind games. He's bringing a new element into boxing where, like in boxing, it's all this gentleman sport and just these are bringing the entertainment to boxing. That's what's great about it. And if you don't appreciate that, there's something wrong with you, because that's what boxing is. It's an entertainment business. And Jake's bringing that. It's just a different flavour to what the average boxing fans used to. But
this is the thing, is like, there's a reason why people will watch Game of Thrones. They'll watch, fucking women will have their soaps and all of that or whatever. Everyone loves a storyline, and that's the thing that boxing has struggled with. That's why Sky Sports never quite clicked on, and that's what Eddie Hearn's trying to do with DAZN. He's trying to do what the UFC did, and even then, they're still miles away. Building storylines, having a reason why you want to tune in. It's more important than the fight, and that's been proven now, time and time again.
There's just no household names. Back in the day when there was Eubanks, the Dog Destroyer, like these were like household names. Everyone knew there was a story. Like,
but they were characters, weren't they?
They were characters.
They were like WWE wrestlers almost.
But it's like, I don't like to say it, but boxing, unfortunately, has got quite boring. Like you say, it's just two men turning up and fighting. Like, there's no entertainment. The press conferences aren't that exciting. And
I love the way they're like, we like Jake Paul.
Yeah, and I can see why they like Jake Paul, because in a way, I do feel like there's a lot of similarities in between Jake and Tyson.
Mate, we've had them both in this studio, and for all their fighting ability might be completely different, the way they carry themselves and how they operate,
they know
different.
how to make a show.
Yeah.
They're both showmen.
Absolutely.
And I do think as well that Big John and Tyson do overrate Tommy's fighting ability. But I guess we'll see when we get in the ring.
There is ability there, and Jake Paul hasn't fought anyone with boxing ability. And that's where, it becomes... in my opinion, Tommy Fury is the favourite for that, just because of his experience fighting other boxers.
He fucking should be.
But again, like Jake Paul and even his brother, there seem to be people that have dedicated themselves to it. Like, from the outside looking in, you can think these are just clowns. Like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? But then they're putting the work in the gym, and when you're doing that, you're gonna.
It's the fact that they're mentally strong as well. I think they're used to the pressure. Like, they've lived in a boiling pot of just come on, throw anything at you want. You know what I mean?
They've been cancelled so much. But this is the thing: is the amount of abuse that these two lads have suffered because of their success, but also the things that they've done and that have pissed people off. When you come through that, speaking from personal experience, you feel pretty fucking bulletproof, like.
Yeah.
And like being humiliated isn't a big deal anymore, but you're comfortable stacking the chips because you're like, what? I've been there before. Well, I can win from this? All right, then, it's on now. So
it's recoverable.
I say that.
In boxing, the hardest bit about it is the mental side of it, because performance-wise, physically, everyone can be great in the gym, but, on the big stage, like you say, that's when most people crumble. I know myself off experience. You can be great in the gym, sparring can go great, the camp can go great, but what generally as boxers, you aren't used to getting in front of the camera. It's like, especially in the amateurs, you go from amateur, you go pro. You haven't really had that level of exposure.
Right.
So like sort of the Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they're used to that now. So all they've got to work on the physical. And generally speaking, it's easier to have the physical aspect. The mental side, most boxers will tell you it's more mental than physical every day of the week. So that's the actual advantage they've got, starting the opposite way around, if you know what I'm saying.
I did think that from day one that would help them, but it's surprising how much it's helped them.
Well, obviously, they've actually got a bit of talent as well behind them because, like I say, I really, especially, I personally rate Logan Paul more than I do Jake Paul, even a little bit more so after seeing the last performance of Jake. Not that he had a bad performance, I actually was impressed in spurts what he done, but they've definitely got natural ability as well. So, because obviously I've been in boxing a long time, and the amount of years they've been in boxing to compete with the guys that
3 years, mate.
Yeah, it's not a long time, and I think everyone's putting pressure on them because of the YouTubers and they want to see them not do well, but actually they are doing extremely well. They're competing with guys, whether they're MMA, boxing, they're still competing with fighters, guys who've been in the ring far more than they have been in, whether it's an octagon or a boxing ring. So,
and that's the thing with Jake. He's capitalized on one of the greatest models of marketing in boxing, which is the Mayweather style of, people watch to see him lose, and that's the great thing about him,
You generally get more support that way because people want to see people get beat. It's unfortunately the way the world works. When people get to the top, people want to see them get knocked off.
Yeah.
That's the truth of the matter. So,
all right, that's another video down. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Do you think Tommy can beat Jake Paul, or if Jake Paul can beat Tommy? Either way. But until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.